know your audience, listen out for those things, put them in your pocket. What else is important for people when you're thinking about influence?
Well, one of the things that we don't spend enough time thinking about is how people like to become convinced. And this is a huge thing that runs at a below conscious level, but is really instrumental in getting buy-in. So if you're on a board, one of the first things you really want to be able to understand, and FYI, I just want to, just position this, that this is really advanced stuff. So if you've been to, influence trainings or anything like that in the past, it's likely that you may not have come across these ideas. So this comes from the body of knowledge that helps us understand how people are likely to behave and communicate based on their below conscious drivers. So what are they unconsciously paying attention to, or driven by, motivated by, and how does that then find its way to their behavior and their communication? So I want to talk about one thing as an example: convincing patterns. So one of the things you want to look out for is, how do people get convinced about an idea, about a project, about a person, about an idea? So there's a couple of things you can look at. So we either like to hear about it, we want to chat about it, we want to read about it, maybe we want some information or some reports, maybe we want to have a go at it, so we want to do the thing or use the product or whatever it is, or maybe we want to see it in action or observe something. So that's an example of 4 input channels, right? How do we get convinced? The next thing we want to ask is, how many times do they need that information presented in order to become really convinced? Now, some people are what we call automatic convincers. They just hear a snippet of information, go, yes, that's it. I want that fridge. I've 5-star rating. You had me at 5-star rating. I'm in. Or we've got people who are convinced by a number of examples. So which fridge? Fridge 1, maybe. Fridge 2, maybe. Fridge 3. Oh, it's definitely fridge 1. I've had enough to make a comparison, to make a decision. Some people are convinced over a period of time. Now, this might be overnight. You hear some people say, just let me sleep on it. Or can I come back to you next week? I just kind of need to sit with the information for a little bit. And that period of time can be different for different people. And the final one there is being convinced by consistency. And this one's really tricky because it suggests that people are never quite convinced. And you would know this. So you have a conversation with someone, you think they're on board, and they say, yes, let's go ahead with that. And you come back next week and they say, so about that initiative, tell me again why we're doing it. Just tell me again. And you go through all the information and all the examples, and they go, oh, yeah, okay, let's go ahead. And the same conversation happens next week, and you think, haven't we had this conversation already? Like, weren't you on board last week? What's happening? Now, if you take all those variances of how people become convinced, you can see the opportunity to get it really wrong. If I'm an automatic convincer who likes to talk about things, that's how I become convinced. So show me the fridge. I just need to see a 5-star energy rating. Tell me a little bit about it. Boom, I'll buy that fridge. And I am trying to influence you, and you need to sit on things for a couple of days, and you need to see it in action. I'm there going, but it's a 5-star energy rating. What else do you need? Like, we're done, aren't we? Aren't we done?
Every board I'm on or been on, you've got the person who needs to read things and is automatically convinced, and then you've got the people who needs to see things, but they want, time and all of that stuff. You've got them all in the room together. How do you navigate that?
Well, if you have the opportunity to put this conversation on the table as an explicit intervention to help the decision-making of the board, that's the ultimate, because you can then, this is the work I do, right? So part of the stuff I do is around individual profiling and team profiling. So trying to work out what those below conscious drivers are so that we can put it all on the table and say, look, we're all convinced by different channels and we're all convinced in different ways. How do we want to structure our information gathering and sharing so that when we're asked to make a decision in a meeting, everyone has everything they need in the time frame they need, in the way they need, so that
Yeah.
they can come to that meeting ready to make a decision.